Welcome to Mental Matrix. A man deceives himself most when he believes he is loved simply for who he is. That illusion has destroyed more lives than any battlefield. You think she admires your soul, your gentleness, your kindness. Oh, Diogenes, the mad dog of Athens, would laugh in your face for clinging to such a fantasy. He slept in a barrel, owned nothing, feared nothing, and made it his mission to expose men who bowed before false hopes. If he were alive today, he would mock your heartbreak, laugh at your tears, and remind you of a brutal truth. Women don't value men, they value what men can provide. That line should cut you. Take away your money, your strength, your influence, and see how quickly her warmth turns cold. This is not bitterness. It is the law of survival. Diogenes once said, "Why not punish the teacher when the student misbehaves?" His point was cruel, but clear men blame women for using them. But the real fault lies in their own blindness. You made yourself useful and she treated you like a tool. You offered yourself as a servant and she treated you as one. Do not rage at her instincts. Rage at your willingness to bow to them. Diogenes understood that true power is not in possession, but in refusal. When Alexander the Great stood before him and asked if he desired anything, Diogenes replied, "Yes, step out of my sunlight." In that moment, the ruler of half the world was reduced to a shadow blocking the sun. Even Alexander admitted, "If I were not Alexander, I would wish to be Diogenes." Now look at yourself. When you beg for validation, when you grovel to be chosen, you are no sun, you are the shadow. She does not admire you. She uses you until you are empty, then discards you as easily as a dull blade. The truth is harsh but simple. You are not valued for the softness of your heart, but for the firmness of your spine. A man who cannot walk away is not a man, he is an instrument. And every instrument is thrown aside when it no longer serves its purpose. So stop dreaming of unconditional devotion. It does not exist. Women are calculators by nature. They measure, they weigh, they take. When the balance tilts against you, they leave. Diogenes knew this long before psychology gave it a name. He mocked men who built their lives on illusions. He carried a lantern in daylight, claiming to search for an honest man and never found one. If he walked through our streets today, he would see only men bent before women, begging for scraps of affection. He would shake his head and call you what you are, a commodity. Understand this paradox. The less you allow yourself to be used, the more valuable you become. The more you give without boundaries, the faster you are replaced. Respect is not born from obedience, but from resistance. Diogenes stripped life to its bones. He lived on nothing so that nothing could control him. That was his power. What about you? You cannot endure a day without her attention. You starve for validation, and so you are owned. A man terrified of losing a woman has already surrendered to her. She knows it and she uses it. Diogenes was called a dog because he lived without shame, because he exposed what others hid, but that insult became his armor. He proved that dignity comes not from approval but from independence. Until you grasp this, you will always kneel before someone who sees you only as a resource. Women will accept your gifts, your service, your devotion, but they will never respect them. Respect comes only from the man who can resist, who can refuse, who can walk away. And that is the man who becomes untouchable. This is why every woman tests you, not because she consciously plans it, but because her instincts drive her to. She pushes to see where you bend, where you break. And most men collapse, thinking compliance will win her loyalty. But the opposite is true. The more you bend, the less she values you. Diogenes once said that true beauty is freedom. Freedom from wealth, from custom, from dependence. That is what made him immune to exploitation. No woman could use him because he needed nothing from her. But you cannot tolerate solitude. You would rather crawl for affection than stand in silence, and so you are consumed. Women sense your desperation and exploit it not out of malice, but out of instinct. You fear loneliness more than chains, so you accept slavery disguised as love. Diogenes turned loneliness into strength. He proved that the man who can face solitude is unbreakable. Meanwhile, you endure humiliation just to avoid being left. That is why she does not respect you. How could she? You have already confessed with your actions that you are nothing without her. A man enslaved by shame and need will always be used. A man who embraces shamelessness, who does not care for approval, who refuses to kneel, cannot be touched. That was Diogenes' secret. He lived poorer than beggars, yet kings envied his freedom. Learn this. Women only value the man they cannot fully exploit. If you give yourself entirely, you lose value. If you resist, if you protect your essence, then and only then do you stand as a man. Anything less and you are simply another tool destined to be discarded.